Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thunder Today YouTube channel. I am your host, Dylan Hibbard, and Game 1 of the NBA Finals took place last night, and what can I say? One of probably the best game this entire playoffs. If you're just an NBA fan, if you're a Thunder fan, you are absolutely heartbroken. Thunder had control of this game from start until about zero point 0.3 seconds left on the clock before Tyrese Halliburton hit a pull up jumper to hit the game winner to win 111 to 110. And we're getting to the point now where it's like, is Tyrese Halliburton like one of the most clutch players we've ever seen? And it's crazy to say that, but game winner against Milwaukee in the first round, game winner against Cleveland in the second round, game winner against the Knicks in the conference finals, and now a game winner in game one of the NBA finals. It's just absolutely wild to me what Tyrese Halliburton's doing. And I mean, you got to give credit to the Pacers. I mean, this was a game where from start until that point in the game where they won it, the Thunder just had control the entire time. They got out to that 7-0 lead, then the Pacers came back and made it 10-10 before that first immediate timeout. But every time the Pacers kind of got right back in it, the Thunder would go on another 7-0 run. And it was a continuous cycle. And it kind of happened until we got into the fourth. And then the Thunder could never get back away. The Pacers kept it within a 2-3 possession game. And they kept it close enough to where if the excuse me, if the Thunder were to keep missing those shots that they did throughout this game, that they were going to have a chance to come back, and obviously it worked out for the Pacers. This game just shows that this series is going to be just great basketball all the way around. The people who were talking about it like this is going to be terrible basketball, blah blah blah, they're even if the Thunder very possibly, if you look back at 2012, the young Thunder then they won game 1 and then the Miami Heat swept them the next 4. I would not be surprised whatsoever if the Thunder go out and do that this year and still win in 5. It's just it's the same exact thing that happened in the Denver series in game 1. The Thunder were in control, but Denver kept it close the entire time, and then you have the Aaron Gordon shot that wins them the game. So the Thunder have been here. This isn't something new. They're going to test it. And the Denver Nuggets had the best player you're going to play. Granted, this Indiana Pacers team overall is so much better. Um, it's going to be interesting to see. And now people say when a road team wins the game, that's when the series starts. Well, series is start, and Thunder are going to look back to get to game 2 to even this series up on Sunday. One thing I want to talk about is kind of the tale of two halves. You had the first half where the Thunder were up by 12 at half. They were just Shea was having his game. Jada was kind of struggling, but you had Caruso, Hartenstein contributing. Chet had a few points, and you just kind of kept the Pacers in that double-digit deficit. And then I was watching, but I kind of dozed out in the third because I was like, all right, we're just gonna kind of keep that double-digit lead. And then next thing I know, we're in the fourth with about 10 minutes left, and it's like we're up by 15. I'm like, okay, we're cruising. And then all of a sudden, the Pacers were just right there that entire second half, and they kind of got it going. Siakam was cooking. You had Obi Toppin with a massive game by them. Obi Toppin played so well off the bench for the Pacers. And they just kept it close enough to where that second half, they knew what they had to do to keep it within arm's length. And the Thunder couldn't really pull away. Shea had 38 points. He was himself. Jado kind of struggled. He wasn't very efficient from the field. I would like to see Chet would have done more than he did. Caruso and Hartenstein contributed like they did. And for me, it was just the different halves were so indifferent to me. I think that was the big thing. I think the Thunder were kind of on cruise control, and then why the Pacers were able to kind of sneak back in there, hang around until they needed to at the very end when Tyrese was able to get that shot up. And another big thing that I kind of questioned right away was OKC's starting lineup change. OKC went away from the double big, and instead of Hartenstein, they started Case and Wallace. And I understand why they did this because I saw a stat that came out like when the Thunder are running the double big lineup, they're much worse at three, and they're a plus minus of minus 2.1, I believe. And then when you have a Caruso or Wallace out there instead of a Hartenstein, the Thunder were like nearly plus 10. So I understand what Mark Dagnall was trying to do in that sense of shooting better when you have another guard out there instead of clogging up the lane. Because my thought was Mark Dagnall didn't want to clog up the lane with Miles Turner able to stay in the paint with Hartenstein. They made Miles Turner come out to the three to guard Chet. And I think that's kind of what Mark Dagnall was looking for. But to me, you've dominated these playoffs so much with the double big and then the ability to have Wallace or Caruso come off and be your sixth man pretty soon in the game if you really want to. And they switched it up. So I'm interested to see if we stick with the Wallace starting lineup or we want to go back to the Hartenstein. I'm assuming we're going to stick with the Wallace starting lineup for this entire series so we're not going back and forth because then if you go back to the double big lineup, it kind of looks bad on Dagnall to switch it up again. And it just felt Wallace didn't have a great game. He was minus 13 in this game. And he just looked like a different player on the starting lineup side of it compared to coming off the bench. I don't know if that was just a one-off, one-game thing or if that was kind of a mental thing for him thinking that he's in the starting lineup, he needs to do a bit more, and maybe that's what got to him in his head. But it was I'm interested to see what Mark Dagnall does with this. I'm not sure how I feel about it because Hartenstein provides so much extra size down low and allows Chet to guard Siakam, which gives him more length against Siakam. Granted, Siakam still could bully him, but that's when you clog the paint with Hartenstein and all of that. So I'm not sure what the Thunder are going to do. If I were them, I would stick with it. I don't think you, at this point, go back. I think you just kind of work with your bench unit being Caruso, Wiggins, Joe, Hartenstein. And that's another thing. We were not even halfway through the second quarter. We were seeing A.J. Mitchell minutes in the NBA Finals. The Thunder were played 11 or I believe it was 12 guys because Kenrich Williams got technically a minute in there at the end of the half or something like that. The Thunder are playing 12 guys in an NBA Finals game, and I understand you could probably play all 12 guys and be perfectly fine because that's how deep the Thunder are. But we're in the NBA Finals. I don't think A.J. Mitchell should be getting finals minutes. I understand the Kenrich Williams minutes depending on where we're at in the series or game, but I'm not big on those minutes. I think you stick to Caruso, Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, and Hartenstein. I think you run a 9-man. Unless Dagnall's seeing something that we're not, I don't feel like a 10-man lineup is that necessary for the finals. I think 9 is the max you want to go because I feel at all times you have to have Chet, J-Dub, or Shea on the court. Mainly Shea and J-Dub. Chet's not going to run the offense, but you have to have J-Dub or Shea, on one of them at least, on the court at all times, which they do. But I feel like you need to rotate the 9 guys. Don't be trying to get fancy and go all the way out to your Kenrich Williams, A.J. Mitchell minutes and stuff like that. So I'm interested to see how Dagnall messes with the rotation this next time around for Game 2 on Sunday. Some of the keys for Game 2 for me for the Thunder is they got to shoot better. They didn't shoot that great from 3. Overall, their offense wasn't that good outside of Shea. If you go look at the box score, J-Dub had about 20, but it was very inefficient. Lou Dort, actually, shout out. I want to give Lou Dort his props. He had 5 threes. He was probably the second best offensive player tonight, or last night, excuse me. And that can't really happen. Granted, when he's hitting threes like he was last night, he's great and we'll take it. But that feels like those nights that Lou Dort hits 5 threes and has 15 plus points, you have to win those games because he's not going to do that very often. So that kind of is bad on the Thunder's part. But better offensive games from J-Dub and Chet for sure. And I think another key, like I just said, only play nine guys. If anything, only play 8 if it's really that big of a problem for Dagnall. I just think playing so many guys is fine, even in like a first round matchup against the Grizzlies. But when you're in the NBA Finals, you need to play your 8, 9 best guys. You don't need to get fancy with your rookie point guard who was injured 75% of the year. On the other side, the Thunder just need to rebound better. The Pacers are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league, and the Thunder were still getting out rebound them. The Pacers only have one center. The Thunder have 2. They are more athletic. They should be able to go up there and grab a rebound. Early on, the Pacers were shooting threes and they weren't hitting them, and we were getting rebounds. And then in the second half, they were missing it, but then they were getting the ball back. And I think that was definitely part of the reason for the tale of two halves, like I was saying. It just felt like the Thunder kind of got a bit too comfortable in that second half. So I'm not saying the energy was low by any means. That place, even on the TV when I was watching, that place was rocking. So the fans did their part. I just think Thunder need a little bit more consistent offense this next game, which I think they will. I think no doubt this could be a 20-point blowout, and then we're talking like the Thunder could win in 5 again. So everybody's gonna have the over to on today and tomorrow before game 2 on Sunday. People are gonna get their hot takes like, can the Pacers win? But I feel like coming in when game 2 comes around, if the Thunder absolutely blow them out like they have after every loss in the playoffs so far to a team, we're going to be right back here where it's like, okay, Thunder are back on the roll. They're going to end up winning in 5 or 6, and we're chilling. So it was definitely a frustrating game. I mean, props to Tyrese Haliburton. He's one of the best clutch players in the league now, and if not the best. I mean, look what he's doing. So we'll have a couple days to marinate. Hopefully the Thunder will get back on track. But let me know down below what your guys' thought were to game 1 and kind of what you expect from the rest of this series. And we'll talk again tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace.